Hi and welcome back to the garden. We've reached February. That is fantastic. This means there's not much longer now till spring. Spring is on its way. Trust me, we will have better weather. I keep telling myself that. So in this video, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tour around the garden. We've had quite a number of failures, I am sorry to say. And unfortunately, it's been out of our hands. It's been a combination of really cold weather and also one of our squirrels which really wants to bury nuts all year round, and unfortunately he's been burying them in all our containers over the winter and been dislodging the plants that were growing in them. And some of these plants were quite small plants that were grown from seed, and they've not been able to survive, so we have lost quite a lot. So I'll take you around the garden and I'll just show you what's happening now in February. So the first sad thing to report is this wonderful pelargonium concolor lace. We've had this growing in the summer outside. We brought it in the autumn into the summer house thinking it would be okay. Temperatures got down to -13 here in Cheshire, and unfortunately there's no insulation inside this summer house, so what has happened is it's died, unfortunately. I'm looking in the centre and just seeing if there is any possible signs of growth, and unfortunately it's not only obviously withered away on the top, it looks like there could be a lot of mould growing among the stems as well, which to me will signify this is fit for composting. On a positive note, I did take some cuttings, so they are happily growing away inside where it is warm, and I'll be able to get them potted up quite soon, and they will hopefully grow on and replace this devastation. So the next thing I want to show you is some of the things we've been growing in terms of vegetables. We had really good success with the Swiss chard that we sown in autumn. We had it in this side of the garden which had the most sun, and during the colder weather we did put fleece over it, but unfortunately the fleece just wasn't enough, and what's happened is it's all died away. And I was really looking forward to having those beautiful Swiss chard stems lightly boiled for a nice meal, but unfortunately the weather was against us. And with regards to the potatoes that we wanted for our Christmas lunch, unfortunately that didn't go ahead either. They grew away beautifully. We had lovely green top growth above, which would have meant the potatoes underneath would have been growing perfectly. We then had a lot of slug damage. That, compounded with the bad weather we've had, despite the fleece being over them, has meant that they've just died. I've not had the heart to go through this yet, so potentially there could be some small potatoes still lurking inside the bag. So we'll see when it comes to getting them out. We'll have a good clear out in a month or so's time, and we'll see what is underneath the soil. And as for our Christmas lunch, we had to rely on potatoes from the supermarket, which weren't anywhere near going to be as nice as homegrown ones. In the rockery, we've had quite a blow with this Penstemon. This one is a beautiful red Penstemon called Firebird, and because of the temperatures, it's meant that it possibly may have died. I'm going to leave it as it is, and then another month's time I'm going to cut this back, and hopefully there will be some regrowth from the base. These Penstemons generally are okay to about -10, if that. So it's on the edge of being a case of has it survived or has it not. So we'll see pretty soon. Hopefully it'll be okay. In the autumn I did put an extra layer of compost just around the base, just to give it a little bit of insulation, I do that every year with the Penstemon, just to make sure. We don't generally get temperatures as low as -13, so when we do have some losses in the garden. This Penstemon normally gets through winter fine. Luckily, we did take cuttings, and there are some cuttings that are in the polythene greenhouse that we have, and hopefully they will be okay. With plants like this that are temperamental with very, very cold weather, it's always important to plan ahead in the summertime and get some cuttings made, because the last thing you want to do is lose such a beautiful plant like this one. So over on this side of the garden, I'm afraid there's more devastation. We had a really good group of foxgloves growing on this side that were grown from seed, and they were doing really, really well. Unfortunately, our resident squirrel has decided to bury nuts in every pot going and dig up everything in sight. And this is the result. He's been digging around, taking the plants out, chucking them on the floor, burying seeds and nuts, and unfortunately, the plants haven't stood a chance. There are a few that I might be able to salvage, but in terms of this beautiful garden that we have planned for spring with a mass of foxgloves, that's not going to happen, unfortunately, unless we buy some more in that are already grown. So the next piece of bad news is the sweet peas, which we had inside the mini greenhouse. Hopefully they would have been overwintering fine, but again, because of the very, very cold weather, they've gone all limp, and basically we've lost them all. So we're going to have to grow some more this year. So with the autumn sown seeds, we were hoping to get the flowers a little bit earlier, but it wasn't going to happen. The temperature was too cold inside the greenhouse, and it wasn't the ideal situation for these half-hardy annuals. So we'll just sow some more in spring, and we're back on track before we know it. So on a positive note, a lot of the bulbs we sown in autumn are coming along really well. These ones are the Allium sphaerocephalon, which have those lovely drumstick flowers in the summertime, and these are doing really, really well. So there's lots and lots of pots of these to go into the garden pretty soon. So although this video has started off pretty sad with some of the devastation, some of the losses that we found through the winter time, it doesn't mean to say that it's all bad news. We do have some cuttings from the pelargonium that are growing away. We do have some cuttings of the Penstemon, which hopefully would have survived as well. And with regards to the sweet peas and the chard, that's not a great loss. It does mean that we can just sow some more in the springtime. The good news is the sun is shining at the moment. The weather is still pretty cold, but if you wrap up warm, you can still come out and enjoy and see what's going on around in the garden. The main thing at this time of year is looking to see if the spring bulbs are emerging from the soil. And the good news is they're all okay. The squirrels have tried to dig a few up. We've had to put some of the wire mesh over the top of some of the bulbs just to make sure that they're not dug up completely. That seems to have worked. So not long to go now. A few more weeks and we'll be experiencing some really nice March weather. Fingers crossed. So all that's left to say is have a great week, and we will see you very soon. Take care. Please give us a like, and if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Please take care.